What's up everyone, Maximilian here, and welcome back to the next and latest update patch breakdown for Street Fighter Cross Tekken on April 24th. This update did not add too much to the Street Fighter Cross Tekken game, however it did add some free items, some free pieces of replay features and gems. However, if you're looking for those severe balance adjustments and gameplay mechanic changes, clock timer increases, all that stuff we all have our hopes up for, it definitely isn't included in this patch. But Capcom has gone on the record recently saying that there are updates in process and waiting on approval for fixing the infinites, and the other one for that crazy analog control bug that I never personally ran into, but a lot of people that are pad users were having huge trouble with it. So thank God that one's getting fixed, but let's quickly break down what went on inside the latest April 24th patch. Now the biggest difference you're going to notice is the amount of gems that were added to the current version of Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and they don't actually cost money. What's kind of surprising is that through the majority of gems, and you'll start noticing when you look at the boost gems between the defense, the offense, and the meter gain, some of these are really good, and some of them make the previous gem usage almost obsolete. And this kind of has me a little worried. If you start going through and you start looking at the differences, some of the increases go up to as much as 30% now in some situations without negative effects. So there's literally no reason to keep your old gems, and there's a lot of good situations where you can replace new gems. They also added a ton more vitality gems, and I think there was only like 2 vitality gems before. So it's a little insane how the game is going to be impacted by gems, especially the fact of the assist gems. Like we were saying, a lot of the new gems make the old gems obsolete, and this is really the case for the assist gems. Like, there's an assist gem now that takes down the meter usage of auto block, takes down the meter usage of tech throwing. It's kind of like, are they really tailoring the game towards gems that much? And it seems like these are going to be almost game-breaking in a way, but it's really hard to say right now because we haven't seen some of this stuff in action, and of course tournaments gems are banned for the most part. But for the sake of online play, we're going to see what this does to the overall game experience. One of the crazier ones is the fact that you can equip, it takes 2 gem slots, but you can actually equip auto block and auto tech within your gem select palette. So I'm just saying, man, this stuff has me a little bit worried with the overall crazy powerful amount of gems that are going to be showing up in the game now. I don't want to run into every single person running auto block and, you know, auto throw within their gem palette. So we'll see how it goes. There were some other really interesting gems, and one I wanted to demo for you guys that was, I think it was called Difficult Input. It was essentially the opposite of Easy Input. It actually made the inputs less lenient than what we're used to with like Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter Cross Tekken inputs. In a way, when I went back to test this out, it kind of reminded me of the old control schemes of previous Capcom fighters, more notably like Third Strike, Super Turbo, and especially Capcom vs. SNK 2. It really reminded me of CVS 2 in a way, but at the same time it was a little bit more difficult. The input leniency is much less, and it can be very difficult to get out certain special moves. In this situation here, I was finding it somewhat harder to actually perform Ryu's Donkey Kick, which is a full half-circle motion from back to forward. And if you really concentrate and you really get that motion correctly, it comes out just fine, but it just goes to show you it's not nearly as easy to pull off as it used to be. The next update in the April 24th patch was for the Replay Analyzer, and the Replay Analyzer isn't going to change the game completely. It's just a neat little feature that they added to the replay system to make things a little bit more enjoyable, and there's some funny things with it as well. You'll be greeted when you go into the replay mode with like a whole new feature list and an instruction tool set of how to use the replay analyzer. And when you eventually get into a game, you can analyze the entire rounds or the full rounds of the games in the replay analyzer. After it's done analyzing, it'll come up with a graph, and these graphs represent like forward upward peaks of what happened during the match, and these peaks essentially represent quote-unquote hype, which I found hilarious. When you go in and you watch these hype moments, they essentially are moments where your combos are crisp, they end with good damage, they end with some of the best damage possible, and when it goes down, it's essentially moments where they're doing footsies, where essentially your characters are like footsying each other and nothing's really happening. The other interesting element to the replay analyzer is when you actually go into and analyze the attack data per character, you can see which one of your attacks are doing the most damage versus each character, and you can actually compare each one of your fighters versus their fighters. Like I was saying, it's nothing that's really going to change the game completely when it comes to like post-match gameplay analysis, but it is an extra bit of info that can be helpful to make you understand what attacks you're using are doing the most damage, and what moments are technically the most hype. I'm sorry, I still find that completely funny. But nonetheless, this was an interesting patch, did not have a lot of the stuff we were really looking forward to, and hopefully that stuff will be on the way pretty soon, depending if it gets approved by Microsoft and the PlayStation Network. Until then, thank you guys very much for watching the video, and stick around for the next episode of Street Fighter Cross Tekken: The Online Warrior. This has been Max, and I'll see you guys next time.